Hey there, folks. Good morning to you all. I say good morning because I haven't even been fucking awake for 30 minutes when... Oh goody, my video has been taken down for copyright. Motherfucker. But yeah, I can't say that I didn't see it coming concerning those were copyrighted images. So maybe this week I don't want to ditch my mascot though, but I know that's also copyrighted by Shonen Jump, so I already know the solution to this. The video will be back up because it doesn't fucking matter what Weekly Shonen Jump does. I know why they took me down. It's because I was using their copyrighted images for their manga. I know this. It's not because I'm talking shit about their manga. So basically, I'll change the whole episode's going to be changed up. Sadly, from this point on, no more chapter titles, chapter title pages. Sadly, it'll probably just be text. So, yeah, please enjoy the show, and by all means, I should just be lucky, and hopefully I'll stay lucky in that they won't take down the whole fucking, page just because, of all the other videos. Ugh. I may want to do something about that, actually. Anyway, please enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to Walt's Manga Update for the date of February 20th, 2012. Oh god, where do I start? I know I'll start. I finished reading Hunter x Hunter. I am up to date. In fact, that's what we're going to be talking about first this week. But let me just get this out of the way right now, and I'll explain in the next little bit why, but to all you people who wanted me to read Hunter x Hunter, fuck you all, and thank you so much. You will understand that in just a moment. Hunter x Hunter is perhaps one of the most interesting and unique reading experiences I think I've ever had, in that I've never had such mixed feelings about a manga before. At some points, this manga is one of the greatest manga I've read. At other points, this manga is one of the worst, absolute horseshit that I've ever read. And it's all within the same story, and it makes no bloody sense to me at times. Don't even get me started on the fucking Chimera Ants. Do not get me started on the Chimera Ants. 'Cause, oh god. And, okay, the good things about it. I like the characters. I like Gon. I like Killiga. I like, the Avenger guy. I like Leopold. I like all the characters. Another good thing, some of the stories in this manga I really like. I liked Greed Island. I liked the beginning of the series. Now let's get into the bad parts. I hated the York Shin arc. I hated that because this manga refused to just let its artwork, to just let anything try to explain itself. It felt that its readers were so fucking dumb that it needed to explain every bloody fucking thing to the point where pages were literally just giant masses of text bubbles. To the point where I just wanted to yell at this manga saying, fuck you, I'm not a retard. I can figure out some things on my own. And it honestly pissed me off at some points. Like, it was amazing. Chimera Ants. Oh my god. What the fuck happened to the artwork? What the fuck happened to the artwork, people? What could have possibly happened to the artwork oh my god. The perfect example of the artwork, and I'll link this down there so you can see it, is one chapter we see an image of a tree, and it's really badly drawn, and then the very next chapter we see an image of the tree, and it looks so well detailed and all that, and I'm like, this guy is trolling his audience. He's trolling us. He's trolling us with his artwork. The bad artwork from Hunter x Hunter, for those of you who read Hunter x Hunter, probably recognize him or not. The bad artwork is where my mascot came from. Literally, you can't tell what that bloody thing is, which, by the way, I think it's an owl. Yeah, I know, but it's all I can figure out in between. Like, when the artwork gets good enough that you can tell things apart, that's all I could really see. But I honestly don't even, I really don't know what that is. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Anyway. Let's talk about the chapter. Hunter x Hunter, chapter 336, Cancel. So, a lot of this has to do with, Kilala and his brother, Imina. I can't pronounce any of these motherfuckers' names. Give me a break on that. I'll figure it out by next week. And, of course, his little sister, Akila and Narina. I swear, what is with all these unbelievably complicated names? Like, okay, I get it. It's a different culture. It's different fucking shit. But I know how to pronounce names like Takashi, Kubo, all those names like that. And then all of a sudden you throw these weird fucking names. Like Yuki Rito. I know how to pronounce that. That's simple. I know you're supposed to draw out the U. That's why there's a second U. Yuki Rito. Which, by the way, that should hint at another new series we're adding tonight. If you didn't perhaps catch that. Anyway, so, of course, there's all these rules to her powers, and I gotta say, I do love the whole abstract power things, how powers can be these really abstract things, like, oh, you can toss coins, but you can add spinning to them to mess with the bungee gum power. That was really cool. So apparently her power is like, okay, you can give commands. And, like, Kilika can give commands to this girl, and she can't, and she can do them, and he's the only one exempt from, the penalty. And I think, oh, that is awesome, that's really cool. So, finally, they send home the brother who's been trying to kill the little girl for all this time, because there's a chance that the whole family will be killed if, she, heals Gon, who got majorly hurt during the Chimera arc. The Chimera Ant arc. Oh, God. I'm sorry, I can't think back to the Chimera Ant arc without being like, why? Just why the fuck? Wow, motorcycle. Anyway, so... Okay, where was I? Damn it, I'm sorry, the motorcycle knocked me out of my concentration. So, Kilika sends Gon home with her powers, because now he figured out, oh, he can just order her to do something, and she does it. And then he's like, okay, you, Narina, you need to go away because you're hurting my little sister. And so she does. But then, Aluka, I think that's her name. I'll check. I'll have it all correct by next week. So I apologize because, I'm bad at pronouncing names. Akula comes out and apparently Kilika read the whole situation wrong because they're friends. No, they're probably more than friends because they've spent their whole lives together, and she's really mad that Kilika made Narina cry. And so he ends up getting her to come back out, and he apologizes, and so that's how the chapter goes. And I didn't read this chapter before doing this. It was a couple days ago I finished Hunter x Hunter, but there is another plot point that I want to talk about, and that is... Oh, I need to talk about this whole thing. The biggest thing driving this series is Gon looking for his father, and he finally meets him, and it's the most anticlimactic bullshit I think I've ever seen in a shonen manga. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? That's all... I mean, I get it. Okay, they're in a big crowd. It's not exactly built up as a dramatic thing, but... I was expecting so much more. I was expecting quite a few things. But it was... Sucked. It sucked so much. Anyway, there is also a plot point where Gon and Leopold are going to see Kaito, who has been reborn as a Chimera Ant after he was killed by said Chimera Ants. And he's going to apologize for leaving him behind and getting him killed. And that's basically it. Oh, God. As for, I like the chapter, I'm not gonna lie, but the series as a whole is an anomaly. It's literally a manga anomaly that I can't recommend to anyone. I can't recommend people read this series. I can't. So, to all of you who told me I should be doing these reviews, that I should... asked me, could you do Hunter x Hunter reviews? Yeah, I'll do them. I'll keep reading the series, reading in between the lines, trying to figure out the chapters. But this series, oh god, this series. Bleach, number 481, The Tearing. Would it surprise anyone if I said that I really liked this chapter? Well, I mean, I didn't really like it, but I liked it better than last week's chapter at that. So what happened this week? Well, the tearing, I believe, is supposed to mean, like, there are hollow tears in, Ichigo's town, and of course, the two other Shinigami, they, wake up, and apparently now they're okay and all that, because they've been sleeping, and Ichigo and all his friends got together to kick ass, Orihime, Chad, and I can't remember the Quincy Archer guy's name. I never can. No, it's not coming to me. Anyway, and so what happens is, at the end of the chapter, we get, an Arankar who suddenly appears, named Ivan, and, I love Ichigo's last line, I don't know who you are, but get off that bed. That's fucking great. That was a great line. I love that. I think I liked the chapter just for that line. Overall, it was not a bad chapter. Definitely it was a better chapter than last week's anyway. I mean, I wasn't expecting an Arankar to just suddenly appear, especially since I thought we killed all of them off anyway. I thought we got rid of all those bastards. I mean, hell, we killed Zero off in one off panel. I figured, oh fuck, I guess that's the end of the Arankar, alright. It was supposed to be a big reveal. 0 to 9, not 1 to 10. And it was like, he's the strongest, and they kill him off panel. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. But anyway, so, not a bad chapter. Kinda looking forward to next week's chapter, but I'm still on edge, cause, you know, it's Bleach. Perhaps the worst chapter of this week, Naruto number 576, The Eyes That Look Into the Darkness. Sorry, I had to move a pencil, see the rest of the title. This was a Sasuke chapter. Okay, but first I think the thing that pissed me off the most about this chapter was, of course they captured that girl who, by the way, I don't remember a single name of any of Sasuke's team, because, let's face it, they were not, made out to be anything but, just random characters that tagged along with Sasuke, and I'm amazed they haven't been written out of the story yet. But anyway, so the girl who, of course, crushes on, Sasuke, she's in jail, and she still has her glasses. You live in the fucking ninja world, where concealing weapons, you know, hiding, attacking from the shadows, that's your fucking thing. And you don't think her glasses might not hold something that she can use to escape? Really? Really? Anyway, the two other members, I do remember one of them, Jugo, and the water guy, Jugo and the waterman, I'm just gonna call him Mizu. Jugo and Mizo, they end up in one of Orochimaru's lair, and of course Jugo attacks and reveals a secret room of Orochimaru's, where, Mizu happens to find a certain item that could change the entire direction of the war. And he's like, I could give this to Sasuke. Why? Why not use it for yourself? Further your own goals. You are a more interesting character. I don't even know your name. You're a more interesting character than Sasuke. Further your own goals, please. And of course, we do get to see Sasuke, and he's all like, he finds out, oh, they're going after Killer Bee, and everyone's gonna convolge, I guess is the right word, on this one spot where Naruto and Killer Bee are fighting the fake Madara. And of course, Sasuke is like, I'll go and fight him and all that. And apparently there's going to be another confrontation between Itachi and Sasuke, which I really... Oh, God. I honestly don't know what this is going to accomplish. Here's something, though. I will always stand by this. Here's how I think Sasuke's story should have gone. He should have regretted leaving the village. He should have realized, oh, Itachi didn't want me to really give in to my hatred. He wanted me to become strong enough to kill him so I'd become a hero of the village. Fuck, I fucked up. I gave up everything. Like, he'd be sad, he'd be lonely, and yeah, okay, he'd still be a little emo douche, and it probably would have fed even more into the whole Naruto is Jesus, he saves everyone thing, but I think I'd prefer that over the Sasuke we have now, which is like, I am going to consume the world in darkness, everything will fall before me, this will be the rebirth of the, what's the Sasuke? Uchiha, that was the name. I'm sorry, I forgot the fucking main character's last name for a moment there. This will be the rebirth of the Uchiha clan. And I'm like, no. I honestly don't care anymore about your stupid clan. Your overpowered eyeballs. Yeah, worst chapter. This was the worst chapter of the week, I'm sorry. It was. One Piece chapter 657, A Severed Head. So, what happened this chapter? Well, I should start by saying this was a kind of just a very middle of the road chapter. Nothing really happened, but nothing bad happened either. Nothing to piss me off, thank God. So what happened this chapter? Well, with Luffy's crew, they're still investigating the burning island. They found a snowy part of the island, which we can only assume that's what he meant by it was really cold. But Usopp catches a glimpse of a bird lady who I'm guessing must have eaten like a bird type fruit and became a half bird woman. But of course she disappears before anyone can see her. I want to make a call right now. She's the enemy and she's gonna fight Usopp. Calling that right now. You know, because she's a super fast flyer if she can escape before anyone could see her, so... And of course, because he's the sniper, he can hit anything. Yes, that's who I think's gonna fight. I'm making that call right now. But anyway, so what happens with the rest of the crew? Well, Brook is not with the rest of the Straw Hats. We don't know where he is. But the rest of the Straw Hats find the source of the distress call... it's a severed head, and yes, this means that Buggy is not in this chapter. I was wrong. Or, you know what, actually, here's a thing, though. Here's a thought, though. We could say that, I'm gonna make the most far-out guess on any One Piece ever. Here's my prediction of how this arc will go. It's not Law. It's not Law, because I don't think him or Kid are going to appear until the last island where One Piece is. I honestly don't think that's what's going to happen. I think Buggy is in this chapter, and I think his power has grown so strong that now he can affect other people. That's right, folks. Buggy has gotten strong enough to inflict his power onto other people who can't control it. Like, he can cut them up and he can keep them alive. The same way he can. Because, get this, wait, no, okay, no, wait a minute. I just had a thought. Okay, what if it's Don Flamingo? What if Don Flamingo has the power to just all of a sudden slice someone's leg off with nothing happening? He has the power to control other people. I'm just trying to figure out, because I think it's Buggy. It's not Law. I don't think it's Law. I honestly do not think it's Law, because I think the Shibukai are involved in this somehow, so I gotta think it's Buggy who is doing this, or it's Buggy who's gotten stronger. Don Flamingo has the power to, like, slice people's limbs off, but he doesn't have the power to keep them alive or anything, so... If anything, I think his power more involves, like, a kind of puppet master power, where he uses, like, threads that can just cut through anything if they slide over you. Like, well, you've seen that in other manga, I'm sure. Like, it's in Hunter x Hunter, it's in Naruto. We've seen that a lot. So, that makes me think... I honestly... But I keep thinking, maybe Buggy got stronger, but anyway, So, Frankie blows open the door, they run down a hall, and they find giant babies! You know, fat bastards, little night dream. Anyway. So yeah, big babies. And the samurai, of course, he's looking for his son, and I'm kind of curious, are one of these kids his son? Ooh. Overall, good chapter. Lot to think about, lot to talk about with it. But overall, good chapter. Reborn, chapter 373, Fawn vs. Manon. Remember last week when I said Fawn wasted a ton of time talking at the beginning? Well, this chapter confirmed it. Before that, Manon and Fawn had their own little psychedelic battle where they faced off with martial arts versus basically it's basically like in Pokemon terms, it's like a fighting Pokemon going up against a psychic type, which normally the fighting Pokemon would lose in a second, but Fawn apparently is so badass that he can say, "Screw your psychic, I have a fist! Boom! That was my strongest illusion!" And I just punched it the fuck out. I don't know why I just made I don't know why I turned Fawn into basically a muscle bastard, but whatever. And of course, Fawn's time runs out, and Manon apparently has cast this little spell on everyone's mind where if you think that you're going to lose for even a second, you'll take damage. Like, you'll be hurt in some way. And so he thinks, of course, when Fawn's fighting, he's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna lose!" Blah, blah, blah. Blood flies from everywhere on him. Like, blah, blah. And so, finally, Fawn runs out, and he's starting to spit up blood, and, like, Man's like, yes, we can win this! We can win this! Go, Zanzis! And so, of course, next chapter will be the fight between Zanzis and Hibari. I don't think Hibari is gonna get knocked out of this, but I wouldn't put it past Zanzis to get, like, one lucky shot somewhere, so, overall, not a bad chapter, not a great one, but it was alright. Fairy Tail, Chapter 271, Lucy vs. Flare. So, we get a very nice fight from Lucy, who puts up a great fight against Raventail's female, Flare, who has, get this, the power to control hair. Which, okay, it's been said that Fairy Tail has done this before, but not really, because while the guy could control his hair, the guy actually had weights on his hair, and it just had the kind of magical property to it to absorb water. He couldn't really control it, just more like swing it around and it did something. His real magical power was, domination over females, and he used that. But, so, overall, it is kind of a new thing for someone to control hair in the series, but considering so many other magical powers in this series, it really is unoriginal. It really is. So, Lucy is fighting with her spirits to take this girl down, and she can turn her hair into a shield. She can attack with it. Lucy's using her whip in the same way she can use her hair, though, so she's countering pretty well, doing good. Sadly, however, Flare's a cheating bitch and decides to threaten members of Fairy Tail who are in the audience, and thus Lucy can't really fight to her full power. So, the chapter ends there, and I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen next chapter, because the fight's still going on. Overall, it was a very good fight. Lucy is one of my favorite characters of Fairy Tail, and I was glad to see her getting some really good action scenes here. Nothing fan servicey, if I don't say so. It's nothing too bad. I think there was like one or two, but we'll let it get away. We'll let it slip by. It's not Kenichi in any way. Overall, a very good chapter. Definitely, it was, I really enjoyed the fight. And what's Fairy Tail got if it can't do a good fight scene? Toriko, Chapter 176, Skill Garden. So, okay, I love chapters of Toriko like this. Ones where they literally just focus on all the different awesome foods that come about from these areas. They go to an entire archipelago of liquor. All the greatest liquors. There's a beer waterfall, a spring of high-class brandy. There is a tiger whose blood is brandy. There is a sake hot spring. There's a whole river made of cocktails. And then, there's a giant emerald turtle with a spring of high-class wine in its back. And there are potato chip trees. There are butterflies with potato chip wings. There are these little objects where you eat them and you can drink as much as you want and won't get drunk. And that is amazing. And of course they meet with the knocking master Jiro, who is a known horrible drunk. And of course, they just party. They party harder. And of course, they decide to get the king vinegar, which was the item they went to the island to get. They went there to get vinegar, of all things. They went there to get vinegar, and they got it off panel. I think that's perfectly fine because it wasn't a hard item to obtain. It was literally just to show off, hey, this area exists, and it's awesome. And I love when Toriko does a chapter like that. So, awesome chapter. Bakuman, chapter 166, Rumors and Articles. So, remember how I said that fat guy was gonna fuck Ashirogi Muto? Now that they finally got their anime, everything was going so well. But of course we need something, so... Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. So, what happened this chapter? Well, they find out about the whole, everyone's gonna know that, Azuki suddenly has a boyfriend, and she's had him since junior high. And it's like, oh god, everyone's freaking out over it. And oh my god, she's dating Ashirogi Muto, one of Ashirogi Muto. That explains why she's been in everything Ashirogi Muto's done. Oh my god! God, and so the whole internet has a hissy fit, and I just gotta think, who gives a fuck? I think this is one of Bakuman's weaker storylines, because I know for a fact that no one on the internet gives a fuck about this kind of stuff. They don't. I mean, who cares? And not only that, but I am so curious to know what would happen now if Ashirogi Muto decided to just come out and say, every female character we've ever written has been written with the intent of Azuki playing the female lead. Like, with the whole internet just shit a brick at that? I'm so curious. But anyway, I'm kind of thinking about something. Anyway, I'm sorry. So, how did this chapter end? Well, they got a hold of high school photos and ran an article, this sports newspaper, ran an article on Azuki Miho and Mashiro's relationship that they've had since junior high, and now apparently that's going to be a big deal, and I gotta think, is it really going to be that big a deal? I mean, a lot of celebrities have boyfriends and husbands and all that crap. Is it really that big a deal? Especially since this is supposed to take place, like, years in the future. Like, this is supposed to take place after 2012, so... Well, at least if Bakuman's any indication, the world's not going to end, so I think we should be grateful for that. But overall, a pretty good chapter, though I'm not a fan of this arc, to be honest. Conan chapter... I'm sorry, let me start that over. Detective Conan, my apologies, chapter 807, The Strongest Senpai. So, as I said before, last week's chapter got me very interested in the case, and this one just kept that momentum going. They're still searching for Takagi, who they cannot find, but they do find a small clue as to where he might be, and that is a little phenomenon known as the light pillar, which appears in very cold weather in the Hokkaido area, which is where he was originally going, so we can only assume that's where he is. However, disaster nearly strikes as we find out there's a bomb strapped under the plank, but it's about to fall off. Everyone says, Takagi's gotta knock off the bomb, but rather instead, and this is awesome, he pulls the bomb up with him because he hears people under him. That is awesome. He's dropping all this stuff down to see if people will find him, and he refuses to drop the bomb because people may get hurt. That is awesome. So finally, they're sending Conan and his friends home, and all of a sudden, he figures out something about crows that may just help them find Takagi. So next week is probably going to be the finisher for this arc. I hope so. I hope we can finally get back to Bourbon. I know I've been a broken record about that, but god damn it, who's Bourbon? Who is Bourbon? I want to know who Bourbon is. I want to know who Bourbon is. Anyway. It was a good chapter, and I'm looking forward to the end of this story. The World God Only Knows, chapter 178, Unique Spot. So, what happened this chapter? Well, Haku, Diana, and Kimi are talking about what they're going to do about the goddesses. They have no idea how they're going to capture them. They're thinking a frontal assault, they're thinking all these plans, and then Kima's like, no, we can do this. I just need to conquer Ayumi. And without missing a beat, he steps out, finds finds Chiro. Yumi calls our cell. He picks up that cell, tells Yumi that he's gonna go confess to her, grabs Chiro by the hand and drags her along. Chapter ends. What the hell is going on? Oh, and all the goddesses and all the girls are still alive because they're not going to kill them until the plan is ready. So they haven't killed anyone yet, but they're going to. Overall, a pretty good chapter, if very quick to explain. I'm definitely interested. Just how is he going to capture a Yumi after all this bullshit, and how are they going to save the goddesses by capturing a Yumi? Very interested, very interesting, if I may say. So, yeah, that's the world God only knows for you. Beelzebub, chapter 144, Futaba. So, what happens in this chapter? Another quick to explain one. Basically, Hajime's little niece, she's a bit of a bitch. So, of course, he calls Oka and Furichi and Hilda, and they all come to try and keep her from being a little bitch. And, of course, one by one, they all fail, including Beelzebub failing because suddenly he becomes self-conscious about the fact he's naked. Why? Why now? Like, you've gone nearly 150 chapters without clothes. Or no, actually, he got forced into wearing clothes when Hilda lost his memory, so I guess he has had to wear clothes before, but now all of a sudden he's self-conscious about the fact he's naked, so kinda stupid. Anyway, that's basically the chapter. It was alright. Not too bad, not too good, just kind of alright. Nisekoi, chapter 14, Lending and Borrowing. Did anyone out there really think that this wasn't going to be a complete fake-out? That's right, folks. The whole "I love you" from Ordinary was a fake-out as a baseball crashed through the window, interrupting her, and she lost all her nerve to do it. However, that's not the end of the chapter. Two more things happen. One, Kurosaki returns his locket with a new, better, and stronger chain. So we seem to see that she's getting a little more fond of him than she was before. Oh, and also Claude, the guy who works for Kurosaki, yeah, he calls out a hit on Ichijo. Yeah, I bet you forgot that this was a whole gangster Yakuza manga as well as a romance. But yeah, no, there's a hit out on Ichijo now. That's not good. That's not good. Overall, very good, very interesting chapter. I very much enjoyed it. Soul Eater, chapter 95, The Battle for the Moon, part 5. I hate the chapter names of Soul Eater. Anyway, so what happens in this chapter? Noah and Gopher are sneaking into the Kishin's lair while everyone else is fighting. And speaking of everyone fighting, Kid is fighting against clowns along with other death scythes, ending up connecting one of his lines in order to gain a power boost in order to win against the fight. Where I have to ask, when was the training to learn how to connect the lines? Because before this, he's never willingly connected the line before. He's always done it out of emotion, out of anger. And so maybe he figured out on his own that if he's angry or something, if he can connect the line. But the thing is, we've never seen him try it before. We've never even seen him trying to train to do it. He just kind of does it. A little help here, folks. Little, throw me a bone here, offer. Throw me a bone. What else happens? It turns out that all these clowns can continue to respawn no matter what happens, no matter how many times they're killed, and Dr. Frankenstein just loves this idea and is slowly but surely giving more and more into the madness. But back on Earth, Maka appears in front of Corona, and so now we finally get this confrontation. Overall, a very good chapter. If you ever wanted an example of a monthly manga done right, I think Soul Eater is definitely one of the best examples. It truly is. It's got the monthly battle manga format down to a T, in my opinion. It's really a great series. And now, the second of the three new series. The first was Hunter x Hunter. This is the second. Kimi no Todoke, chapter 65, All Natural Color, Youth's Graffiti. So, I don't feel like explaining the plot to this, so if you want to know, I'll link a review down in the description, so you can go ahead and watch that. That being said, what happened this chapter, for those of you who do know what the hell's going on? Sadako, that's the name I got down here. Sadako, she is wondering about the Christmas party. She's wondering, is she really allowed to go? And of course she is. But people have also been proposing maybe her and her love interest Kazuhaya, who they've started dating now. Maybe they should spend Christmas alone. And of course, the big thing about this is that apparently there's been a problem with Kazuhaya. And while I said I won't explain the manga, I will explain this. Sadako is a very timid person. She just won't come up and ask you if there's something wrong, if it looks like something's wrong. And so, of course, there's this whole big, drawn-out, dramatic scene where she finally asks him, is there anything wrong? Is there anything I can help you with? And finally, after a little while, he says, no, I'm all right. Which he's not! And I guarantee you, this is going to go on for 5 more chapters. Because that's how this series rolls! So yeah, I like the series, and I like this chapter, and like I said, if you really want to know what this series is about, go ahead. There's a review down there in the description. You can watch that. Other than that, yeah. You don't want to, then, oh well. Be lost. And the third new series we're adding to this, and the last new series we're adding to this show for a long time, but don't be afraid to ask. Maybe I'll say yes. We've already added a new shonen battle manga. We've added a romance shoujo manga. There's only one other direction we can go with this week, and that is a softcore porn series. To Love Rude Darkness, Chapter 16.5, Flowers of Budding Feelings. Oh, I have so much I can say about this series. To Love Ru it started out as a charming little series, but it really did dull out by the time it ended. It was just kind of the same thing over and over again, and really, unless you like the same thing with variation, this series will not win you over. But I really want to read it so I could read the sequel, To Love Ru Darkness, which has an ongoing plot that the original series didn't have. There was one ongoing plot for the main series, and that was Yuki Rito, which the name I mentioned earlier. Yuki Rito is a boy, but he is so nervous around girls, he can't say a damn thing. And then all of a sudden, a naked girl appears in his bathtub. At random. Yes. It turns out that she is an alien from a distant planet that he accidentally saves from other aliens. And so, when the next day, when he goes to confess his feelings to a girl he likes, he accidentally confesses to this alien who happens to be a princess, and she says yes, she will marry him. He didn't actually say he wanted to marry her, but he decided, okay, you love me, let's get married. And that's basically the plot, is that she's in love with him, and he's in love with her, and they're oblivious to all the feelings, and it's a messed up series. It really is. And it's got everything. And so the ongoing plot of To Love Ru Darkness is that one of the sisters of the original alien, Lala, she wants to build a harem for Rito, since he's going to become the king of the universe, basically. And, normal laws won't apply to him anymore. He can marry all the women he wants. He can have all the concubines he wants. And so he wants to build this harem for the guy. And also there's an organization that basically wants to enlist one of their friends, Yami, who was an assassin who has a golden darkness. And basically it's become an ongoing series with an actual plot, with really interesting character development for certain characters. And it's really gotten a lot better than the original series. This chapter, however, the one I'm talking about now, is actually a different part of the series. Sometimes there will be extra chapters, which are basically little homages to the original series, where everything was basically a one-shot adventure. Basically, what happens in this little one-shot adventure is that Yuki accidentally breathes a flower that basically increases his his urges by like 100-fold, and like he becomes this sex-driven animal, and he takes these glasses that allow him to see through people's clothes, and he basically just goes around his school looking at all the women with these glasses. And so finally he's like, he can't take anymore, but the woman who wants to build his harem, Momo, knocks him out of it with another flower and says, if you want to build the harem, then the only way you can do it properly is with mutual respect and love for each woman. And like, so the next day he can't look at anyone because of what he saw the day before. Overall, it was a very funny chapter just to see the character acting so much out of character. If you're interested in reading To Love Ru, it's not softcore porn until Darkness, I should say. It's very mild as to the contents during its original run, but that's also one of its biggest flaws, so I would say I wouldn't skip To Love Ru Darkness, but I definitely say skim through it, don't just read the whole thing. But overall, it was a good chapter and two good series. I gotta say, I did enjoy both series. Baby Steps, 3 more chapters, 79 through 81. My god, just every week now for like, I think 4 or 5 weeks, it's just been a bunch of chapters of Baby Steps all in one, and I love it. So, what happened in these 3 chapters? Well, it turns out that Maro's in kind of a funk right now. He can't really get into the whole winning spirit because he spent so much time trying to learn through matches instead of winning that it's kind of set him into a conditional funk where he has to lose. And now he's just trying to work his way out of it, and he finds his way out of it by building up a little, his own little, phase for winning, where he stops, he fixes his racket, he breathes, and then he can win matches, and he finally wins his first match while in Florida through this, little exercise, and he's finally able to face off against, Ike, excuse me, I always have a hard time pronouncing this guy's name, Ike Shoji, who, of course, we know as the top contender, one of the best pros in the series, and he's only going to play a quick 1 set, but I'm very interested to see if maybe he'll be able to stand up to Ike in this, or if he'll just be completely destroyed. Personally, I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle of that. So overall, Baby Steps has been releasing a lot of good chapters over the past few weeks. I've really enjoyed them, and I enjoyed these just as much. So, like I've said, if you're not reading Baby Steps and you've ever wanted to get into a sports manga, this is one to get into. It's very good. Addicted to Curry, Chapter 91. So, as we know, these 2 love idiots are stuck on a boat with one of them trying to make curry with no water. After finding a strange substance, he decides of course he can make curry using this. And after using this substance, he's able to make the curry, though with no rice, obviously. And it turns out to have a very sour smell, but when eaten, apparently it's very sweet. It's later revealed that he cooked the curry using vinegar. And of course, my favorite part of any arc of any part of Addicted to Curry, my apologies, is the recipe for the curry that he cooked. And of course, I love when the new recipe comes out because I love to try out these curry recipes. Yes, I have cooked curry personally, and most of the recipes of curry I've cooked have come from this series, and now you know why I read Addicted to Curry. So overall, a very good chapter if just for the recipe. Thank you all once again for watching Walt's Manga Update. This has been Walt. Feel free to go ahead and subscribe for this show every Monday. Also, be sure to subscribe for this Friday. We'll be having the 1-year anniversary video. 1 year of the Walt making videos. Gas hands. Anyway, feel free to subscribe up there. Also subscribe to my Let's Play channel where you can find Let's Plays of all sorts of games. We've already got 1 full Let's Play up of Beastly the video game that you can go ahead and check out. Other than that, there's not much else to say, so I'm the Walt, and hey, keep on reading.